Fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. The Patrick Riggins Show. Call in now at 865-243-8255. That's 243-TALK. And now your host, Patrick Riggins.
Welcome back to the Patrick Riggins Lounge. Playing a little Gino Vanelli coming off the bottom of the hour.
Smooth hits.
Yes.
WNOX playing the smooth hits only for you. The Silent Storm.
His name sounds a little bit like aftershave, doesn't it? When you want to smell like a man, use Gino Vanelli. You'll love the cool sensation. She'll love the smooth and enticing scent. Gino Vanelli for today's man.
Smell like Gino.
Yeah,
Gino.
you could use his name to just endorse about anything. You know, like say like wine. Hey, baby, it's your birthday. Let's order a bottle of Gino Vanelli to celebrate.
Gino, you know.
You know, but drink responsibly. You can even like a chainsaw. Yeah, my old Husqvarna was too small, so I bought one of them 32-inch Vanellis on sale, and it cut through them logs like butter.
No weight eater, my Gino Vanelli.
Yeah, I was out fishing and had on my Gino Vanelli waders. Heck, even car tires. You know, you say, yeah, my Porsche was getting a little loose in the corner, so I slapped 4 new unidirectional Gino Vanellis on there. Now it handles like it's on rails.
This is the comedy.
This is the comedy portion.
Yeah. Well, whatever listeners Georgia didn't run off in the last show, I think we just successfully did right then. So.
Yeah, that's my talent. I can take a diehard listener of a radio station and run them off quicker, you know.
Yeah. Thing is, we can't be serious all the time, folks.
No, you cannot. You have to have fun in life. Otherwise, you'll end up going on a rampage.
Can Gino go bye-bye now?
Yeah, we can ease Gino out. You know.
Bye-bye, Gino.
I don't have one of those aftershave names. You know, Patrick Riggins. Just doesn't work.
My Uncle Sam gave me a Gino Vanelli 8-track whenever I was a kid.
Yeah,
so
really?
He'd always give me his old disco 8-tracks when he was done listening like Andrea True Connection, Casey and the Sunshine Band. So
you had that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. My name just is not soothing like his. Gino Vanelli. My name's more like an irritant. At least the people who make their living in government. All right. Oh, let me grab what I was going to do here off this last segment. We were talking about the NDAA. I wanted to tell you real quick how your person voted. Let's see. This station reaches about 5 states. So I'll run down these people just real quick. You can go to votesmart.org, and this is where this information's from. But these are the people who voted for the NDAA. In Tennessee, it was Republicans Chuck Flashman, Diane Black, Marsha Blackburn, Stephen Fincher. They voted yes, along with Democrat Jim Cooper. Now, if you're down in Georgia, Republicans Jack Kingston, Lynn Morse Westmoreland, Tom Price, Rob Woodall, James Scott, Paul, I think it's Brown, and Phil Gingrey, I guess, they voted yes. Now, Democrats on that side that voted yes were Stephen Bishop Jr., John Barrow, and David Scott. These are your House people. In North Carolina, it was Republicans Renee Elmers, Virginia Fox, John Cobble, Sue Myrick, and Patrick McHenry all voted yes. Democrats George Butterfield Jr., David Price, Mike McIntyre, Larry Kissel, and Heath Schuler all voted yes for the NDAA. In Kentucky, Republicans Ed Whitfield, Stephen Guthrie, and Hal Rogers voted yes. On the Democrat side, Albert Chandler III was the sole Democrat voting yes. The other Democrat was apparently thinking that day and voted no. And in Virginia, Republicans Rob Whitman, Scott Rigel, James Forbes, Robert Hurt, Bob Goodlatte, Eric Cantor, and Frank Wolf all voted to ignore the Constitution. The Virginia Democrats also voting for this were Bobby Scott, Jim Moran, and Jerry Connolly. Now, in the Senate, which had also cleared the Senate, in Tennessee, both Republicans, Lamar Alexander and Bob Corker, both voted yes. In Georgia, both Republicans, Saxby Chambliss and Johnny Isaacson, voted yes. In North Carolina, both the Republican Richard Burr and Democrat Kay Hagan voted yes. In Kentucky, Republican Mitch McConnell voted yes, and Republican Ron Paul voted no, making his father happy. And in Virginia, both Democrats Mark Warner and Jim Webb Jr. all voted yes for the NDAA. Something you might want to think about come election time, that obviously these people do not care much for the Constitution. Anyway, getting on. This segment, I've talked about, hit on this on previous shows, but I've never really devoted a segment to it. And incidentally, if you want to hear any of those past shows, you can go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Patrick Riggins Show. There you have all the past shows, conveniently with all the commercials and lead-in music edited out. So no Gino Vanelli when you're listening to this. But you get the meat of the shows, the whole grain goodness. It tastes good and is good for you.
Like Gino Vanelli.
Yeah, like Gino Vanelli, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to have a bottle of that. Bottle of Gino Vanelli 62.
Everybody's at home. It's enough of the Gino.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's going, okay, we got it. All right. Anyway, voters are frustrated, and politicians are playing off that. They're playing the people frustrated with shootings. They're playing them for gun control. They're playing the people who don't have a job or have one in which they don't make enough money, which is just about any job. It's pretty rare that someone working will tell you they're making too much money. So the politicians are playing everyone off each other in order to manipulate the country into doing what the government wants. And, of course, the media are all right there helping along. Why do people blame the so-called rich for their problems? Because people don't want to take the blame for their situation in life. It isn't their fault, it's someone else's. If you accept blame for something in your life, you would also have to accept it's no one's fault but your own for where you are in life. People don't want to hear that. They don't want to look at themselves as failures. The problem is, no one is a failure. All you have are people who have tried and didn't succeed, but then didn't want to try again. Those people could be, and a lot of times are, only one more try away from success. There's not anyone with a semi-sound mind in any housing project or rundown ghetto that hasn't tried something to make money. Legitimate money, we'll say that. Things might not have worked out the first time. Now they're not going to try again. Things in your life may not be your fault, but it is up to you to fix it. And most people don't want to do that because they don't have to. They'll still eat. They'll have a place to sleep. In fact, with government giveaways, you can survive pretty well, comparatively speaking. The problem with letting government do anything, whether it be health care or school vouchers or public transportation, whatever it is, the government has to pick winners and losers, and it shouldn't be doing that. All these people railing against profit, and yet they're the beneficiaries of profit. Anything you didn't personally make, these things are provided by a profit. Politics has become like sports teams. I'm on the Democrats team. Well, I'm on the Republicans team. Well, I'm on the environmental team. Well, I'm on the gun control team. All these things are bad. Unlike sports teams, winning or losing elections puts our country at stake, depending on who is working in Washington. Whether this party is having a winning season or a losing season, whether they're calling bad plays, sure, you'll complain about them, but you always back them, no matter what. You need to start thinking about America as a team, not a collection of a bunch of little teams. All these politicians and special interest groups, what they're doing is dividing our country up so they can rule over their particular little segment of people. It's much easier to manipulate a small group of people, supposedly united behind some common cause, than it is to manipulate a large number of these same people. I represent women voters. Well, I represent black voters. Well, I represent Hispanic voters. Who cares? Stop letting these little weasels in government start fights between all of us. The reason they get these voters divided up into these partisan issue-centric voting blocks is so they can get their stuff passed more easily. It's just like complaints that arise every election. The politicians are only paying attention to certain states, certain areas, because if they can just win those areas, then they'll win the elections. It's the same thing with voters. If I can deliver my block of voters to a politician, I gain more power, and so do the people who stick with me. And by focusing on just one issue or a narrow part of an agenda, I can get people to support me more fervently. Anyway, we have just blown through that segment. We are already up on the last segment of the Patrick Riggins Show. This show just flies by. You blink your eyes, you miss it. So take the break to blink your eyes. But keep your ears open, because these guys sponsoring us are the ones that keep this show on the air. This is Patrick Riggins along with Tori spinning the tunes. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.